stated that she received a concerning text message from Mitchelle's phone. When she brought it to Mitchelle's attention, she said that her daughter Stoney sent it. These messages were dated October 2014 and Stoney was killed May 2013, meaning the messages were sent more than a year after her death. Why
Come on
Mitchelle
now.
would blame her dead child for a text message she clearly sent?
Because she the fucking demon her motherfucker self, a fucking narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath. Her damn self, bro. Them kids weren't no fucking demons, bro. I don't really believe that them kids were fucking demons, bro. She was a demon, bro. Who was once a sweet, innocent child. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what's good? What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Kewonis CB, and now I'm back with another motherfucking reaction video. You know what I'm saying? Today's video was to react to a subscriber's request. You know what I'm saying? They want me to react to the Deep Freezer Mom. So I searched up the Deep Freezer Mom. It came up with the Mitchelle Blair kept bodies in their room for years. What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, man. Shout out to the person who told me to react to this. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. You like the video with thumbs up, make it with thumbs down. Kind of why we don't care just too. You want to see more reaction videos from me or any other videos from me? Make sure you guys go on my channel, take my videos. If you like my videos on my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe. But you know what I'm saying? Yes, subscribe. Let's get straight into this video. Let's get it. All right, let's go.
I don't claim him as my son.
Oh, hold on. Wait. Hold on. 1 second, y'all. Don't mind me, y'all. Hold on. Fix the sound real quick. Come on, let's get it. I'm trying to switch the sound from one place to the other. It was on my TV, now it's off. It could be on my computer. Let's get it.
And I do not claim Stoney as my daughter. I have 2 children, that's it. Female and Stoney are demons, period. I don't feel no remorse for the death of them demons.
Wait, what?
Abuse as a child can be extremely detrimental to the development of the brain. Research shows that child abuse is associated with structural abnormalities of the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is part of the brain that connects the 2 hemispheres so they can communicate with each other. Conduct disorder, also known as CD, is associated with abnormalities of the corpus callosum. Conduct disorder is characterized by aggressive, deceptive, and destructive behavior. Today's video is about Mitchelle Blair, a mother who would murder 2 of her 4 children after her youngest child accused them of sexually abusing him. Mitchelle herself was sexually abused as a child, and we will see her exhibit many of the traits of conduct disorder. Today's video will also show how family, friends, and the system failed Mitchelle's children at the hands of such a wicked person. In most states in the U.S., a parent must give the government a notice of intent to homeschool a child before pulling the child from school. However, there are 11 states that don't require any notice or follow-up contact with the government when a parent homeschools a child. The point of the state knowing that you intend to homeschool your child is important in keeping an eye on your child's well-being. A risk factor for abuse is isolation. An abusive parent that is not held accountable by a third party, such as a school or the government, can be extremely dangerous. Mitchelle Blair was a mother of 4 children, who she had with 2 different men, as shown in the diagram. The youngest was Matthew, followed by Stephen, who shared the same father. She then had her 3rd child, Stoney, followed by Gabrielle, who shared the same father. Throughout the video, we will also hear Matthew and Gabrielle referred to by their nicknames, Maddie and Gabby. Mitchelle and her children resided in an apartment building that was infested with roaches and mold. The 4 children did not have an escape from the conditions since she homeschooled them for the last couple years that she had custody of them.
How the fuck motherfucker let their house look like that? That shit looks... Oh my God. I'm surprised I don't got bed bugs up in there. Oh my God. Listen. I would be so disgusted just by looking at that. My house could be a little messy, but you get like that, it's time to go. Man, if that you could do about it.
In 2015, Mitchelle received an eviction notice for failing to pay her house bills on time. She could not keep a job and had been receiving government financial assistance for her 4 children for many years. The eviction crew entered her house and started to remove her furniture. In the living room, they found a deep freezer. When they opened it, they found the body of 2 children, Stephen, who was 9 years old, and Stoney, who was 13 years old at the time of their deaths. The bodies were stacked on top of one another inside of the freezer. The bodies of the children were kept inside this freezer in the middle of the living room for years, all while Mitchelle and her 2 children lived in the house. As a side note, this image of a freezer shown on screen has been floating around the internet, and some people think it's associated with this case. But a reverse image search reveals that it predates the events of this case, so it is not an accurate representation of where the bodies were kept. It took a few days.
How the fuck can you live like that, knowing that you kept 2 of your kids' dead bodies is in a fucking freezer? You kept that shit for years? What? That shit is mind-boggling to me. What the fuck? No.
Bodies to thaw so an autopsy could be performed. It was discovered that Stefan died about 2.5 years before the eviction crew found his body, and Stoney had been dead for about 1.5 years. We will now go back
So she
to
killed
the time
Stefan
when murder took
first.
place. Stephen was killed in August 2012. One day in August, Mitchelle came home and saw her youngest son, Matthew, playing with dolls in an inappropriate manner. She asked him if anyone had done those things to him, and he replied, yes, Stephen did. Mitchelle marched to Stephen's room to confront him. In the following clip of Mitchelle's confession during her trial, we will hear Mitchelle recount the horrendous abuse she inflicted on Stephen after the doll incident. She will go
Wow.
on to say that she beat him and suffocated him until he was unconscious many times for 2 weeks following the incident, until he succumbed to his injuries.
So I started punching Stephen. You know, I'm like, what the fuck is you doing to him?
What? So she felt like Stephen was probably gonna be gay and stuff. Now she said like she probably one of them homophobic parents. You know what I'm saying? Like she said, like the dog incident, like not homophobic. Wait, nah. She said they was doing inappropriate things. Like, I don't feel like it was being a homophobic because of the dog thing. I think because Steve probably was making the dogs have sex with each other. You know what I'm saying? And she got mad. Like, damn, you teaching your brother how to do this shit at a young age. You a fucking demon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that kind of trigger her in a way. Like, because you kind of trigger her in a way, like, bring back flashbacks and shit, like child abuse and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it triggered her to make her do it to her own son, though, you know what I'm saying? She should never did this shit to her damn kid. You know what I'm saying? Let's watch the video.
I just started asking him questions. Matthew, at this point, is just spilling out. He's just spilling out. And Mom, and he's doing like this, and he do this thing almost every night. He tell me how he was, we not put bags over Stephen's head. Because if he had Maddie, I thought Maddie peed in the bed. My son was never a bed wetter. Didn't know it was Stephen waking up every morning, pissing on Matthew. The reason I put bags over Stephen's head is because my son told me that the plastic on his bed, because I thought he was a bed wetter, he said, sometimes, Mom, I couldn't breathe. Stephen was laying on me and he had my face down in the plastic on the bed. I couldn't breathe. That's when I got a garbage bag and started putting it over Stephen's head. And I started asking him, you know what I'm saying? You see what this feel like? You can't breathe? He's talking about, that's my son. You could not breathe on top.
But that's your son, too, you know what I'm saying? Whew, man. Sometimes you need to teach your kids from right from wrong, you know what I'm saying? If you feel like one of your kids was being abusive to your other kids, you should just give them up for adoption if you can't handle it, or go get him some help or something, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that to your child, bro. You know what I'm saying? Man.
And Ray, you was 6 years old at the time. You get what I'm saying? So I put a bag over his head. He lost consciousness. I did that a couple times. He told me that Maddie would be face down. He had stuff around his neck. So I grabbed Stephen, I grabbed a belt, and I put a belt around his neck, and I lifted him up like, do you like how this feels, being choked with a belt? So I dropped him. I held him up until he lost consciousness as well.
You were intending to...
No, I did not intend to kill Stephen.
No, I'm not listen to my question. You were intending to inflict serious physical harm, but not kill him.
Definitely.
Matthew, the youngest child, outlined in detail to his mother the abuse he claimed to endure from his older brother Stephen. This fueled the abuse.
And you know what's so crazy though, that Matthew gonna have to live with this shit, you know, that he was the reason why his brother got killed, this shit, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes parents need to think about in the long run how that shit will affect the other child. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like, and now this child will grow up with guilt because he the reason why his brother and sister, I don't know about his sister, it's the reason why his brother and sister got killed, bro. Like, god damn, but it's just sad, bro. It is. But it's a learn. Stephen probably learned this behavior from somebody, from somewhere, bro. Because a child only do what they see. You know what I'm saying? That's a learned behavior that Stephen was doing this. That's a learned behavior. Like making dogs do inappropriate things. He learned that shit from somewhere, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's the video.
Mitchelle inflicted on Stephen. She tried to replicate the pain she believed her son endured. Mitchelle tells the judge she used scalding hot water to burn Stephen and forced him to drink Windex. According to Matthew, Stephen used
Not
the same
Windex.
form of torture on him. Stephen forced Matthew to drink Windex, which made him sick, and Mitchelle brushed it off as a stomach bug at the time.
You talked about choking him. Did you also burn him?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how did you do that?
Hot water, scalding hot water. In our bathroom, the hot water gets extremely hot.
So basically, she was trying to make him feel the pain where he was making the other baby feel. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
His private area, I stood him in the bathtub naked. His kid came off. Yes, I did, because Matthew told me in the middle of the night he had took him in the basement and he made him drink the blue stuff from under the sink. And I'm like, what blue stuff? So I walked Maddie downstairs. He showed me what I said. You made Maddie drink fucking Windex. And then I went back.
And plus he a kid, he don't know better.
And I'm like, is this what was wrong with him? I thought Matthew had the stomach flu. When you vomit and have diarrhea, you get it at the same time. At that time, this is what was going around. A lot of people had it, so this is what I thought Matthew had. He didn't. Stephen made him drink Windex. So yes, I made that boy drink Windex.
At this point, Stephen had endured multiple weeks of abuse at the hands of his mother. Mitchelle will describe the moment when Stephen died. She found him in his room, surrounded by vomit and too weak to hold himself upright.
And if I had killed Stephen intentionally, I definitely would be proud to say I did. But I didn't. But I know all the things that I did to him, how I hurt him, I know it did cause his death. You know what I'm saying? It was like that day, the day that he died, I went in his room, it was throw up in front of him on the bed. I got him up, he said he had to go to the bathroom, but he couldn't use the bathroom. By the time we came out the bathroom, his breathing was crazy. Stephen usually has a strong heartbeat, but it was really faint, really, really faint. And then all of a sudden, he just started going like this, and I was holding him. We were both sitting on the floor, and I'm actually holding him up. Couldn't even hold a second. I'm like Stephen, doing like this, because the day before that, I actually said I'm gonna stop because I looked in the room and like he is toe up.
Mitchelle wrapped Stephen and put him in the deep freezer that was sitting in the middle of their living room. He would remain there for the next 2.5 years.
I actually turned myself in right after Stephen died, and I told my son Matthew that, you know, I gotta go, and I gotta go turn myself into the police. I gotta go turn myself in. And he said, turn yourself into what? And I said, Matthew, turn myself into the police. That means I gotta go because I killed somebody. And then he said, I don't want you to go.
It's the fact that she keeps saying, I killed somebody. But baby, that's so fucking child as well, bro. Like, goddamn, bro. Like, damn. That was your damn son too. Not just one. Talk about shit, you only had 2 kids. Baby girl, I don't know, no matter what your child did, bro, you always supposed to love your child and beat up for your damn kid. I don't give a fuck what he did, bro. Teach your kid from right from wrong, bro. Or keep them away from each other, bro. Or send him away. So he can't get some help. So you ain't gotta kill him and shit, you know what I'm saying? Man, this is crazy. That's his video.
Said that was it. So I put Steven in the freezer and I said I'm gonna stay with my kids as long as possible.
9 months later, Mitchelle found out that Stoney, the second oldest child, who was 13 at the time, was inappropriately touching Matthew as well. It was claimed that Stoney wrung out her menstrual pad in Matthew's mouth. While she took a minute...
But the whole time, how you know that Matthew probably telling lies to these kids, bro? I mean, Matthew probably telling lies on these kids, bro. How you know Matthew probably be the demon child? You feel me? And Steven and Stoney probably was the innocent kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
Time to reflect. Mitchelle will react with extreme rage and began to abuse Stoney. We will hear Mitchelle discuss the abuse she inflicted on Stoney.
I intentionally killed her.
How did you do that?
Starting from the beginning, when I found out about what Stoney was doing to Matthew, it was 9 months later after finding out about Stephen. So for the whole 9 months we were in the house, she was still raping my child. Did not know that.
Your child, that's your child too.
After Maddie told me,
So she'll believe him?
I took a minute because I was not understanding, that she did that to him. But I repeatedly punched her on many occasions. My son, I told him to tell me every single thing she did to him. So as she was telling me, he was telling me more and more things that she did. I saw
He could be lying.
Time he told me what she did to him. By assault, I mean I punched her. I had put a bag over her head till she lost consciousness. I threw hot water on her, scalding hot water from the faucet.
Some people don't even deserve to have no kids.
Yes, I hit her on her head multiple times, over and over.
Was that shortly before she died?
And she has no remorse of doing that shit, though. She had no fucking remorse. No remorse. Bitch, you redeem your damn self, bitch. She said this shit with no remorse. Like, no type of emotions. Like, goddamn, bro. You and your child must be a demon then, bro.
That was actually the day before she died and the day she died. I hit her on her back. It's like on her tailbone. I kicked her. I actually had a stick and I was hitting her in the head. Every time he told me something, I hit her very hard in her head and I was throwing hot water on her.
Mitchelle claims that Stoney and Stephen used to abuse Matthew together. In her eyes, both Stoney and Stephen needed to be punished, and this was the only way. Eventually, Mitchelle strangled Stoney to death. Mitchelle forced her older teenage daughter, Gabby, who was in her late teens at the time, to pick up Stoney's body and put it in the freezer on top of Stephen's frozen body. The body of Stoney, age 13, would remain in the living room freezer for about a year and a half before she would be discovered. During her trial, Mitchelle was asked by the judge if she ever witnessed any of the claimed abuse. Her response was defensive and self-assured. Mitchelle quickly tried to argue against any doubt the court attempted to raise.
Did you ever actually see anything of any sexual abuse of any kind between either Stephen and Stoney and Matthew?
I reject her question, but I will answer it because no one will say that this did not happen because it actually did.
I just wanted to have a
How we know that?
because so far all you've told me was that you just heard it. Did you ever
And that they
see it?
admitted it. No, I did not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I
But
understand.
as I went back in my head and thought back to all the many things that was wrong with Matthew over the years, and I'm like, that's what was wrong with you? He'll use the bathroom and say, Mom, my butt hurts from my poop. I don't know, Matthew. So I started giving him 100% juice to make his stool softer, maybe to help him use back. That wasn't the problem. It wasn't his stool. It was that he was being raped. Basically the same thing.
Right.
Can I ask you a question first? The people standing behind this woman who just asked the question, is she trying to make it seem like this did not happen?
No. We just have to have a clear record.
Okay.
This is your time to talk. Go ahead.
All we're trying to do is just make sure that the
I mean, right now, man, this
Yeah, because you know, it's like I'm willing to take a polygraph test. It's like because I understand people don't want to hear me, period. But I'm willing to take it on everything.
The reason Mitchelle had such a strong reaction and denial of any doubt in her story likely stemmed from her childhood. In a separate interview, Mitchelle recounted the abuse she endured as a child. She claims a family.
Now that makes sense. Y'all that said that, like, now that makes sense. Now that makes sense. I think I said this in the beginning of my video. Like the reason why it probably trigger like a childhood memory or something when she was abused and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, this can't, man. Nobody not for this abuse a child for no damn reason like this, bro. Cause she might have seen it before in her childhood and remember like, nah, I'm not gonna let this shit happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let this shit happen though. But know that it come from her own kids when she's seeing this shit, bro. It is crazy, bro. It is so crazy, bro, man. She looked like she was just an innocent child that been abused. A lot of people who's been child abused were innocent people once upon a time, bro. And they just grew up to be monsters, you know? Man, it's crazy, man. Let's watch the video.
Inappropriately touched her when she was very young. When she brought the concern to her own mother, she was rejected. Her mother didn't validate Mitchelle's feelings about the abuse that she endured. She carried this deep-seated lack of validation and trust into her adult life. We will see her become defensive if she thinks others are questioning her story's legitimacy. This brings us to the question of whether the children's sexual abuse onto one another was true.
Right.
In Mitchelle's trial, the prosecution and defense argued both sides of whether the abuse among the siblings took place. No physical evidence was ever found that corroborated Mitchelle's claims that her children were abusing each other.
Right.
If abuse did happen, the question is, where did the children learn it from? Children hardly...
Exactly. They learned that shit from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? They learned that shit from somewhere. That's why I just said in the beginning of the video. Kids not just gonna learn some shit out of nowhere. They see it, and that's what they think is cool. Okay, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's watch the video.
Understand sexuality, much less how to perform acts on others without seeing it or hearing about it from somewhere. Mitchelle herself may have been the source. Mitchelle didn't want her children to suffer like she did as a child, so she decided to tell them about the inappropriate touching she experienced in order to prevent the same thing from happening to them. She informed her young children about all the abuse she endured as a child in graphic detail. We'll hear her recount how she explained this to her children.
I told my mother what happened to me, and the only thing she said was, "It's okay. What you want me to do about it?" What do you mean what I want you to do? You get what I'm saying? So all I could do is go back and sit in my room and just sit there and look stupid. I'm a kid, and I'm just telling you what happened to me. You didn't about it. And plus, I still had to see the person coming in and out my house. You still friends with that person. I'm sure I told my kids this. I told them what happened to me, how it happened to me, how it made me feel in detail. And I say, if anybody ever touches y'all, you better tell me. They knew. I always talk to my kids about that touching from anybody. So they definitely knew. And this is the part that really gets me. I used to tell her, rape is the worst thing you can do. Just I tell her all the time. They used to make me feel like I was nothing. It made me feel like I was. You turn around and you do that to my son, you knew exactly what she was doing to him. She knew exactly what she was doing to him. So yes, and I don't care what anybody thinks. She had to go, period.
Telling a young
Well, that's your
child
daughter
about
as well,
sexual
baby
acts,
girl.
This type of graphic detail can harm them deeply. This may have been the fuel the children used, either to perform the acts or to fabricate them. It is totally possible the abuse happened, as Mitchelle described in court. However, what if the abuse didn't happen?
Right.
Why would a child accept the accusations? While it is important to believe a person...
That's what I'm saying. Like, they probably, that's what I'm saying. They probably, accusations. You know what I'm saying? It probably was false accusations. She probably killed them kids for no damn reason, bro. That young child probably didn't even say nothing, bro. Man, that's it, man. They don't look like the type of kids to do that type of shit, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
suffer from abuse, especially if the victim is a child, It is also important to ensure the child is not fabricating the abuse, as he or she may not understand the gravity of the situation, especially when their own mother is talking about it in such graphic detail.
I had always told my kids the worst thing you can ever do to somebody is break them. I always told my son that, and I always told the girls the worst thing you could do is cry rape on somebody if they didn't rape.
It may have been that Matthew said his siblings were abusing him to either get back at them, knowing how his mother would react, or for the sake of attention. Mitchelle claimed that the children she killed confessed to abusing Matthew, but she also confessed to beating them while questioning them most of the time. They may have simply confessed to make the beating stop. Again, there wasn't any physical evidence to corroborate the claims that the children were sexually abusing one another. But that is not to say that it did not happen. These are simply the arguments the prosecution and defense raised in court. Either way, there is no justification for Mitchelle's actions.
Right, it's
The
nothing.
sexual abuse Mitchelle endured as a child may have contributed to her violent actions. Mitchelle's abusive childhood may have led to structural abnormalities of the corpus callosum, and without proper psychological help, it could have very well led to conduct disorder, which is characterized by aggressive, deceptive, and destructive behavior. This would explain her violent reactions toward her children and the many lies she would tell to her family and friends to keep the deaths of her children a secret, her tendency to disregard the safety of her children, and the horrific conditions in which she kept her home. The abuse she inflicted on her children may have also had a cathartic effect. It may have been the release of power she always wanted as a child, and never had. Mitchelle knew that no one protected her growing up, and she believed that killing 2 of her children was a way to show Matthew that he was protected and loved. This is something she never had as a child.
My son is 8 years old right now. He's gonna forget a lot about me, okay? When he look back at all this media coverage from these bottom feeders, I don't want him to see that I stood here like a coward. I did what I did, and I did what I did.
Nah. It's crazy how she refer her kids as bottom feeders. You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy, bro. Now Matthew grow up feeling guilty as hell, like damn, my siblings gone because of me. You know what I'm saying? Man, she need to think about the kids' future, bro.
Period. He gonna see me standing up, taking my responsibility. I will happily do life in prison for my child. That's period. And I just told you, my son's gonna forget a lot of things about me, but he will not forget. He goes on media, websites, or whatever, looking back over the years, and he is old enough to understand exactly what I did. I want him to look back. He's gonna know how important he was and still is to me. I'm happily saying life in prison. If you had death penalty, I would take that.
For killing your own kids?
That's my baby. Period.
Them your babies
Mitchelle was
too.
sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She stated that if Michigan had the death penalty, then she would have wanted to be put to death. Michigan was not only the first state in the U.S. to abolish the death penalty, in fact, it was the first English-speaking government in the world to abolish the death penalty in 1846. During Mitchelle's sentencing, the judge left no doubt she found Mitchelle's actions repulsive and condemnable. We will hear the judge's reasons for imposing the maximum sentence she could under the circumstances.
As a mother, one of your primary responsibilities was to protect your children. And in that respect, you failed in the worst possible.
Fail.
There's nothing that can be done at this point to change what happened.
True, that's why I'm asking for life.
I know.
Damn.
Thankfully, that house of horrors that you created is no longer in existence. I do pray that your remaining children
They will.
recover
They will.
from what they saw and endured in that household. What struck me as rather unnerving was that you stated that your kids got it better than what you had. I fail to see how that's possible when you're still here.
You talking about the defeat children?
No. Let me talk. Despite what happened to you when you were a child, you had the opportunity to grow up.
True.
You had the opportunity to become an adult.
Mm-hmm.
You had the opportunity to make your own decisions with respect to running your own life. And you were left with 4 children.
Or see some therapy. You know what I'm saying? Man.
Stoney and Stephen are never going to have that. have those same opportunities. And when I think about all of the possible joys that they could be missing out on, one thing that strikes me as the greatest tragedy here is that they will never know what a life is like without experiencing fearing their mother.
Right.
They will never know the joy of what could have been in their life without having you in it. They lived in terrible fear of you. And I find that just
That's a
so
mad.
sad in this case.
Anybody, you could just imagine how them kids felt, bro. Like, come on now. Man, this happened in 2012. It wasn't even that long ago.
After all is said and done, you imposed the death penalty on your own children.
I did.
And you readily admit it, and you want to take responsibility of it. You're therefore sentenced to the Michigan Department of Corrections for the rest of your life without the possibility of parole.
Since Mitchelle had been in jail, she had been charged twice with assaulting guards, and she had over 40 other incidences since 2015. She had been known to get in physical altercations, spit, and throw her urine on fellow inmates in jail. In June 2015, Mitchelle was also in court for a child protective proceeding in relation to her 2 living children. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services sought to terminate her parental rights.
She should know how the daddies
parental
felt. Look at
rights
the
of
daddies.
2 fathers of the children. During this court proceeding, one of Mitchelle's friends testified against her. The friend stated that she received a concerning text message from Mitchelle's phone. When she brought it to Mitchelle's attention, she said that her daughter Stoney sent it. These messages were dated October 2014 and Stoney was killed May 2013, meaning the messages were sent more than a year after her death. Why
Come on
Mitchelle
now.
would blame her dead child for a text message she clearly sent?
Cause she the fucking demon her motherfucker self, a fucking narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath. Her damn self, bro. Them kids weren't no fucking demons, bro. I don't really believe that them kids were fucking demons, bro. She was a demon, bro. Who was once a sweet, innocent child. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is crazy, man.
One way that she would try and hide her children's death from others. Mitchelle would lie to many other people about the whereabouts of her dead children. Again, her children were hidden in the freezer for multiple years, yet no one noticed. Mitchelle would come up with as many lies as were necessary to keep this a secret. For example, right after Mitchelle killed Stephen, she pulled all her children out of school. She simply lied to the school that they were moving. She would also lie to the fathers of her children when they tried to see them. This led to the children's complete isolation.
When he asked about Stephen, what did you tell him?
I told him that he was at my aunt's.
You lied to them.
Yes, I did.
Do you know the difference between a truth and a lie?
I just told you I lied.
Did you tell the school that Gabrielle and Matthew were not going to attend because of her moving?
I did.
And was that true?
No.
I know the difference between a truth and a lie. I definitely lied.
Okay.
I told them that we were moving because Stephen was dead. In September school be starting. So, yes, I'm pretty sure they would have been looking for, like, why Stephen missing school. So, yes, I told them that we weren't coming back because I was moving.
Some people don't need to, they don't deserve to have kids.
After I found out about what Stephen was doing.
And can you give me a time period for that?
That was in August. That was in August of 2012.
Okay. And how did your relationship change?
Well, I basically stopped talking to my aunt, period. At one point, she used to come over every day. That's how she was. Like, she loved us. She loved all of us. Like, she checked for us. If one wasn't there,
Then why you didn't send them to your auntie, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, all this stuff could have been fucking avoided.
hey, over there upstairs, she loved all of us. And I knew if anybody would know anything was wrong, it would be my aunt. So I purposely kept her away, meaning I was just nasty to her for no reason. You get what I'm saying? And it hurt her. That really hurt her because I know she missed me, she missed the kids, but she never stopped coming. She would knock on the door. Sometimes I would open the door like, what? You get what I'm saying? And it hurt me to do that to her because I love that lady, you know? So that's why I took extra care to be that way with my aunt, because she was the only one that would really know that something was not right. From the moment she walked in that house, she was looking for everybody. She loved us. The only person in my entire life who's ever loved.
It was ruled that Mitchelle and Matthew's dad would lose parental rights. This was seen as Matthew's best chance at a bright future since he would be adopted. On the other hand, Gabby's dad was granted parental rights since she was 18 at the time.
Man, they should did that shit the first fucking place, man.
She would live on her own and would be eligible for 2 years of court-provided services like therapy, schooling, and housing.
Man.
Although it might seem unfair for an absent father like Gabby's to keep parental rights, the judge did this on purpose, as it would allow Gabby to receive the additional support from the court. When the 2 surviving children were rescued from Mitchelle, they were medically examined. There was evidence of physical abuse. Matthew had over 20 scars all over his body, and Gabby, the oldest child, had marks on her as well. The marks were consistent with both children being beaten with an extension cord. Gabby had a cut above her eye and told the medical examiners that she was hit in the head with a 2x4 piece of wood. They also noticed she had a broken front tooth. Gabby told them that her mother hit her with a curling iron. Mitchelle had already beaten and killed 2 of her children. She thought
So she was doing this shit to all her kids. Wow. Got her son thinking. That's a psychological. Oh my God. Psychologically damaging. Matthew. So Matthew really wasn't the reason why that he didn't.
being inappropriate, and these are the supposed innocent children in her eyes, and yet she still took out her rage and insecurities on them.
Man.
In 2015, the same year that the bodies of Mitchelle's 2 children were found, Representative Stephanie Chang of Michigan introduced a bill to help prevent parents from hiding child abuse under the disguise of homeschooling. The bill, called House Bill 4498 of 2015, would require parents to register with the school district and meet twice a year to check on the children's well-being. Unfortunately, this bill was never passed by Michigan's House of Representatives. Michigan is one of 11 states that do not require any notice or follow-up contact with the government when a parent pulls a child out of school for homeschooling. In view of the case of Mitchelle's children, we can hope that one day every jurisdiction will have in place laws to check on the well-being of every child.
Now she killed a kid from both
All the suffering of Mitchelle's
parts.
children will not be in vain. Do you think Mitchelle used 2 of her children's actions as an excuse to be abusive? Did she?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure did. And she trying to blame the man. She trying to blame the younger child. She's trying to blame the younger child for. She's trying to use the younger child to, man. I can't even say what I want to say, man. But man, I want to hear you guys' opinions about this situation in the comment section below me, because this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy, bro. Two innocent kids' lives gone because of a monster, bro. And she blamed the younger child for doing that shit. Now the younger child will grow up thinking that he's the reason why his sisters and brother got dead, and she making these false accusations, accusing him of saying that shit about man. Bro, this shit is crazy, man. But yeah, man, you like to give a thumbs up, you don't give a thumbs down, kind of why we don't care this shit too, you know what I'm saying? Yes, subscribe. See you guys in this video. Love y'all. Peace out.